So the next section is Windows. You need a Windows machine to work on. So if you have a local Windows machine in VMware or VirtualBox or something, that's fine. Or you can just go to Google Cloud, just like your Linux machine, and make a Windows server and then connect to it with Remote Desktop Protocol. And when you're done, you do the same kind of thing on a Linux server. You can put Splunk on a Windows server, and of course it's somewhat easier because it's not in the command line. You just get a normal installer you downloaded from Splunk and then install it. And you'll now be running Splunk on your machine, and by default it will connect to the local host on 8000. So you can see right there controlling your single instance of Splunk on a server. And then you can import the logs again. So you can put up performance monitoring of your machine, and you can also put up the other logs. And here you put up the normal event logs, application, system, and security. So you can send those up just by going through the menu. And then you've got the data on your machine. Now your logs will appear in Splunk, the Microsoft event logs. All right. And once you've done that, let me clean off some old stuff here. All right. Once you've done that, you can then detect ransomware with Sysmon. And this is probably the most important thing. Sysmon is a wonderful Microsoft product from sysinternals, and Swift on Security, a security celebrity on Twitter, has made a very popular configuration file to help you do it. And the point of Sysmon is, again, really convenience. This takes the Windows event logs, which create far too many events for simple things, and it runs a tool that will select certain specific events of importance and put them in another location so you can find them. So by default, you just have a few events: process creation, changing a creation time, a network connection, and so on. A small number of events that are obviously important being put in a separate location. And you don't need Splunk. You can just go through Microsoft Event Viewer and see these events. And it gives you a much simpler place to look to see things. So now if you create an exe file, you can see the event file created, and you can filter things. So anyway, you can see it just in the raw Windows event log, and you can, of course, add it to Splunk. So you again go to just putting in event logs, and you go find this Sysmon operational log and add that to your Splunk, and now Splunk will have access to the same information. So then you can find ransomware. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to write a general rule that will detect if a whole lot of files are all created rapidly, which is a sign typically of ransomware. So you can go to an event code and find the event codes for that and discover that event 11 is an event that shows file creation. So now you can make a Splunk query. This is stream statistics in a time window of 1 minute. Count how many times this event code happened. And when you run it, you'll see that right now there's only been one such event because you only made one file. Here's how you look for excessive periods. You use this Splunk query to specify what source of data you're using, what event code to look for. Then you do statistics, counting how many of them happen in 1 minute, and then you see if that's more than 10. So this will tell you if more than 10 files were created in 1 minute. And that's a possible threshold for this. And so now you can just download this zip file and unzip it, and it will create 12 files all at once, and that will trigger that. So this is a simple example of the sort of thing you do to develop custom rules to trigger in Sysmon, and using Sysmon and Splunk to find custom events that are suspicious. That gets you started on that stuff. So I think I'll stop this one and make a separate video for the next bit.